ホワイトソックスの村上宗隆は9日、マリナーズ戦に出場し、4打数無安打に終わりました。しかし、チームはマリナーズに快勝しました。この試合で村上は快音こそ響かせられませんでしたが、第3打席ではライト後方へ大きな打球を放ち、スタンドから大歓声が上がりました。打球はウォーニングゾーン付近でライトにキャッチされましたが、飛距離は106メートルを記録。球場によっては本塁打になっていてもおかしくない当たりだっただけに、スタンドのファンからも大きなどよめきが起こりました。ここまでメジャー1年目から存在感を示している村上に対し、早くもホワイトソックスのファンの間では契約延長をめぐる議論が熱を帯びています。ホワイトソックスファンによるベイポッドキャスト番組、ロックドーンホワイトソックスでも、この話題は連日大きく取り上げられており、村上の今後をめぐる期待の高まりが伺えます。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
But first, let's talk about Munetaka Murakami discussing how he's not in a hurry to get a contract extension. And the White Sox front office has made it clear they're not in a rush to give Mune an extension, which I maintain is still foolish. With every home run he hits, the price is just going to keep going up. And I'm not sure if the White Sox are being guided then by the fear of breaking precedent, but I kind of got a feeling that that is what is motivating them to not offer an extension, while the trend right now is if you get a small sample size, pay these guys, pay these young players. But they would be breaking precedent of offering a player a deal over $100 million, and I think they want to just see how many strikeouts does he rake up relative to the home runs he hits and walks he takes before actually saying, okay, we're actually going to break this precedent, we're going to make the financial commitment. But for better or worse, that's the White Sox stance. They will reportedly wait until the offseason. Mune's comments to the Chicago Sun-Times also sounds like a guy who's not in a rush to get an extension done. So let the he wants out ASAP scrutiny begin. Jump into the comments, obviously. And it's also going to kick off that trade speculation that as long as Mune is crushing home runs and has club control only through next season, he's going to be a prime candidate to be traded at the deadline or in the offseason. So let those rumors begin. But when you dive into Mune's recent comments to Barry Bloom of the Chicago Sun-Times, it sounds like a guy who would sign an extension at some point. He's in no rush to bail on Chicago's South Side the first chance he gets. Now, I could be interpreting these comments with rose-colored glasses, but you are seeing a player that seems happy to be on this team. His teammates love him, and he seems to be enjoying them too. Took him out for sushi. I mean, the city has come to embrace him. And I think he's presenting himself as a genuine, authentic person who just seems motivated to be great because he wants to be great at baseball. He loves baseball. And it's not the cash. He's not chasing the money grab. So I'm sure he could have went just back to Japan and been like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this scrutiny. You guys don't think I'm worth it? You guys think I can't hit velocity? Fine. I'll go back and be a superstar in the MPB. Now, it also doesn't mean his camp is going to likely pursue every dollar possible if he does reach free agency. I mean, that's just business. But for now, Mune wants to focus on the field and not the business side. And here is what he had to say to the Chicago Sun-Times. And this is a little bit of the write-up from Barry Bloom. The White Sox may have a choice regarding the future in Chicago of Japanese slugger Munetaka Murakami. But then again, they may have no choice at all. He'll be a free agent after the 2027 season unless there is an extended lockout. And now the genie is out of the bottle. The other 29 teams that failed to sign him, either interested or not, have now seen what he's done in the 6 weeks since joining Major League Baseball on a 2-year, $34 million contract. The financial numbers that second time around will dwarf that. The Sox should try to extend him right now before it's too late, although a member of the organization said Wednesday that there have been no current talks. Murakami said through his interpreter that right now he's fine with that. Quote, "It's very early in the season and still the start of my contract," he said. "I'm really happy where I'm at the moment. I'm not looking too far ahead, but if the time comes and the White Sox obviously feel happy with me and want to extend me, I consider that an honor, and that would be a happy situation for me as well." Let's see what happens. I'm just focusing on what's in front of me and trying to get the results as much as possible. I'm not looking too far ahead. I'm trying to concentrate on what I can do at the moment." End quote. And in a lot of ways, this is also a case of a player hinting, it's out of my hands. I can't force the White Sox to come to the negotiation table. And if the White Sox don't want to offer a contract extension, all Mooney can do is keep playing, keep getting better. But I go to this place where I wonder how much of being the poster boy of the 3 true outcome hitter and playing first base and the current controlling owner still being in that role and his frugal ways is playing into the White Sox not offering an extension. Let's review, though, why offering an extension even right now makes sense. While first base has been devalued, power has not. And you need power in today's baseball and right field. Second, you have a gate attraction. Third, you're winning more games with him in the lineup. It's just a fact. You haven't been at 17 wins at this point in the season in forever. Well, it seems like forever. And he's already a 1.3 F4 player on May 8th. Fourth, even though he is a 3 true outcomes hitter, there's at least context for his strikeouts. In that he isn't expanding his zone. He's not chasing a lot. He has been elite at taking his walks. So you got a guy who not only gives you a chance to score an instant run or an instant 2 or 3 runs with a home run, but just getting to first and going from there to try to get runs. You look at the WRC plus he's already producing, 152 with a WOBA of 398. That is not something you eliminate from your roster because he strikes out too much. But there is a precedent issue of never paying someone that big of money that it'll likely take to get Mooney's agreement. And here's how Dara McDonald, hopefully I pronounced his name correctly, here's how he described it on MLBTradeRumors.com. If the Sox are going to break precedent, it should probably be for someone safer, an elite shortstop or center fielder perhaps. A strikeout-prone first baseman is a risky bet, even if it's someone as exciting as Murakami. If the deal turned into an albatross, it would handcuff the team just as they're looking to put the latest rebuild in the rearview mirror. This situation would lead to an obvious solution in most cases. If you're a rebuilding club and you have an attractive player with a short window of club control, you trade him for prospects or other younger players who can contribute to the next competitive window. Trading Murakami this summer would yield a greater trade return the next year. The acquiring club would get Murakami for 2 playoff races instead of 1, which adds to the appeal and the price they are willing to pay. But Murakami's situation is a bit more complex to that. For a team signing a star Japanese player, part of the appeal is on the business side. In addition to whatever Murakami is providing on the field, he's presumably adding to the club's ratings and merchandise sales in Japan. Given a strong start, he might be adding to those revenue streams on this side of the Pacific Ocean as well. That can make the calculus more complicated. Trading Murakami this summer would be the best time to maximize his value in terms of a trade return, but it also surely lead to a reduction in those revenue streams and frustrate the fan base. It's also possible it can complicate discussions with Japanese free agents in the future who may not love the prospect of a likely sign and trade scenario. So again, there's just so many factors that come into play. I would rather go with the risk of the contract becoming an albatross because the benefits, though, far outweigh what you're risking. You're risking an albatross. Okay, you're living with an albatross right now with Andrew Benintendi, and most big leagues, most major market teams live with albatrosses because it's the cost of doing business. And hopefully a wealthy controlling owner with a lot of money will eventually take over the team and be like, if it is an albatross, okay, we'll pay him to go away. But if it works out like we're seeing, as of right now in the sample size, it would be money well spent.
Munetaka Murakami made history last night, hitting a home run in the first game of his series for the 8th straight time. An MLB record. It hasn't been done before, and now it has. So my question for you is, why is this happening? First game of a series, he keeps hitting home runs.
Well, it's one thing about it. It's just he's going to be hacking. He ain't going to, when he needs to take a walk, but you're on the plate, he's going to swing the bat. But after that, to me, they had to change the strategy how we were to face it, and that's why early in the first game in the games against him, you got to do it.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, he's got a new team, a new series, new pitcher. He's got a plan, and maybe just keeping it that simple, and they've got a plan, and then boom, he hits a home run. Maybe that is why. But whatever's working, it is working, and hopefully it continues for the rest of the season. 15 home runs. Last year, how long did it take for a White Sox player to hit 15 home runs? Lenyn Sosa on August 15th. That was when a White Sox player hit 15 home runs. We are in the second week in May, and he's got that. He's tied with Aaron Judge for the most home runs in the major leagues. So he's played the same amount of games during the day as he has played at night. He's got 10 homers at night, 5 during the day. So we were talking on the pregame show, why is this happening? Why? And on the postgame show last night, why is he hitting so many more home runs at night? What do you think?
Well, they're going to see the ball better. You know what I mean? I don't know. I was thinking about this. Listen, is sleep better, or you just think about the game and then don't have enough time to prepare yourself? But also strike out a lot during the day. You know what I mean? I want to hear your reason why. Well, to me, that's that they got to pitch well. But a lot of players, I got a Giancarlo Stanton with the Marlins, and he got the same probably could have hit the games.
All right. So what I've been told is it's the shadows. It's been difficult for him. And by the way, everybody in baseball, when there are shadows, and the White Sox have had, I believe, 4 games where they played it at 3 o'clock, and you have shadows here.
Yes.
And that's why I believe his numbers are down during the day. Over the course of the season, I think it's not. I was thinking, is it more like, oh, he's not a day person versus a night person? I think it's just been, there have been shadow games that are skewing his numbers, because he does have 5 home runs during the day, but his strikeouts are way up during the day, and I think it's because of those shadows.
Especially here in Chicago. But I remember hitting a home run against Athletics in days.
Right.
And early, the day game, hit a ball right
So
center.
1 o'clock games are fine. It's the 3 o'clock
It's just
ones.
a funny thing, because here, thank God the summer's coming right away, because you got the shadow maybe late in the inning. It's good if you got an extra inning.
Yeah.
But early in the season, the shadows come out like in the 3rd inning all the way to the 6th.
Right. So right now, so this is it. This would have been a 3 o'clock game late in the game. It's 5:40, and I'm looking down the field right now, and there are shadows. The players would have trouble hitting in these conditions right now.
Another thing is, it's not easy to play defense either, because the ball just disappears once in a while.
Yeah.
But when you hit like that, I remember playoff games, shadows in Cleveland and stuff. You cannot see the ball.
Playoffs, it happens a lot.
I said, oh God, look at that pitching matchups. I said, no, those guys. I remember Manzanillo, lefty. He pitched with us in Old Comiskey Park, and he shut down Kansas City Royals. The next start, he started against Kansas City Royals. Danny Tarabull hit a home run. He went by second base and said, "As you told him, now we can see."
It's a big part of the game, seriously, people don't talk about, but it's real. ESPN's Jesse Rogers wrote a great article about Munetaka Murakami and how the White Sox ended up with him, and the remorse that so many teams have by not signing him this offseason. And one thing I talked to Jesse about for a future White Sox podcast that comes out on Monday, how Japanese players like Murakami have much bigger goals now when they come over here to the United States and play in the major leagues. They don't just want to play here, they want to dominate. Hear this.
I love the Getz line in the article, paraphrasing a little bit, but just because we didn't see him do it over there doesn't mean he can't. In other words, obviously they don't throw 100 every night over there. They don't have the same kind of breaking stuff like the MLB pitchers do. But just because you didn't see him do it doesn't mean he can't. And that's where we get to the drive and determination to be great. And, this is why the story could have been twice as long. I really could have dove into the Japanese culture. And there's a quote that I didn't use in there that just would have opened the door to it, made the story a lot longer. And the quote, if I can remember correctly, was, "It's a new world order. They want to come over here and dominate, and they're willing to work their butt off to do it." And I've seen it up close. Like, I cover the north side as well. Shota Imanaga has doubled down his work ethic after what happened at the end of last season. Seiya Suzuki had a bad first year. He went to the Cubs and said, help me get better. And he's had a good career since. And you see Murakami, and he knew he had some holes in his swing, and he still does, but he wanted to get better. And I even write in the article, like, he's so routine-oriented, preparing so hard that if you want to interview him, you have to wait till after the game to do it. Most guys for a feature, yeah, talk to me at 3, 4 o'clock. Nope, he's in the cage or in the video room and doing his homework.
That podcast drops on Monday, but I really love what he was talking about there, and he had a quote from Chris Getz in it, which is basically him saying, you never know what's baked into the DNA of a player. You can look at stats, but what's in the heart, what's in the mind, and we're finding out there's so much more to Murakami than just the stats he had in Japan.
And somewhere out, too.
Yeah.
By the way, you know why the Japanese player wouldn't be better? Because they're proud. Pride.
They're proud.
I remember.
Yeah, they don't want to come over here and fail.
I just make money and leave.
Yeah.
I remember Jose Contreras. He wanted to get the money back to the White Sox. When he signed, Ozzie Jr. talked to him and said, Jose, I want to get the money.
Why?
Because if you're embarrassed about it. And I tell Jose, they don't need it. You can give it to me. I can help you. I don't make this stuff because we talk about it. Another song, Jose feel ashamed of himself because he's not box pitching good for the White Sox. That's what you get from guys like that. Japanese, Cuban, especially Cuban like Jose Contreras, by the way. Okay?
Yeah. Not all Cubans, but Jose is certainly one of those.
But it's that type of place. Then that's what they get. Pride. I'm very proud what they want to be.